Welcome back, or welcome for the very first time, to 28 Days of Love.
We're so glad you're here, truly, whether you've been rocking with us since season 1 or you're just finding us. This space was created with you in mind.
This season is special, not just because it's February, not just because love is in the air, but because we're stepping into our third year of marriage and our third season of 28 Days of Love.
3 years of learning, 3 years of stretching, 3 years of choosing each other, sometimes with ease, sometimes with tears, and always with intention.
If you were with us last season, you know it ended abruptly. Life happened in a way we didn't plan for, and honestly, in a way we weren't ready to share at that time.
Last season ended because we experienced a second miscarriage. That loss changed us. It slowed us down. It forced us to grieve privately and together.
There were moments we questioned if we'd ever come back to this space. Moments where talking about love felt heavy, even hard.
But here's what we learned. Love doesn't disappear in loss. It gets quieter, it gets deeper. And sometimes it waits until you're strong enough to speak again.
So when we say we're back, we don't mean the same versions of ourselves.
We're back healed in places, still healing in others, but rooted, committed, and more intentional than ever.
For those who are new, 28 Days of Love is our way of inviting you into our real marriage. No filters, no perfections, no pretending.
For 28 days, we talk about love as it actually exists, in communication, in conflict, in intimacy, in faith, in healing.
And this season, we're not doing it alone.
We're bringing in 4 incredible couples, 1 couple each week, who will join us and share their stories, their lessons, their challenges, and their victories.
Different backgrounds, different journeys, different seasons, but one common thread. They're committed to doing the work love requires.
This season is for the couples who are thriving and for the couples who are barely holding on.
It's for the newly married, the long married, and even those believing God for marriage someday.
It's for anyone who's had to grieve something inside their relationship and wondered, can we come back from this?
Because the answer is
Yes.
With grace, with honesty, and with God at the center.
So for the next 28 days, we invite you to lean in with us.
Laugh with us, learn with us, heal with us.
And let love, real love, do its work. Welcome to season 3 of 28 Days of Love.
All right, we're back again. Welcome, welcome, welcome to season 3, episode 1 of 28 Days of Love. Technically, today's February 2nd. So this year is a little different. We're just going to do Monday through Friday, special bonus on Saturday, and then we just invite you to worship with us via live stream on Sunday. Got it? All right. So we had little challenges. You know, life is without challenges, and so we are um, we are just navigating, uh, getting back in the getting back on the saddle, I guess, as they would say, for this elongated journey for these 28, not so 28 days of love. I'm excited. This year we have the how do I want to word this? We have the unique opportunity to have 4 friend couples of ours that's going to make a guest appearance on their chosen select day. So we let them decide what day they wanted to be on the show, on this podcast. Um, and so we will release it at a later date, or maybe like the day before. I don't know how we're going to quite do it yet, but I'm excited. We're going to talk about something today that um, is pretty deep. And so, season 3 is all about a new beginning. Episode 1 is just focusing on loving one another, particularly, and starting over again, right? I know this is our 3rd year doing this, and it seems like every time we've done it, we're in a new place, right? We keep saying we're in a new place. I'm grateful, that we're in a new place because it means that we're growing. It means that we're learning. It means that we're evolving.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a good feeling. It's a good feeling to, when we first started this, we were in Baltimore, Maryland, and we were just, all we had was our bedroom, which was not even half the size of the kitchen. And we moved down to Texas, and we got our first apartment together in North Richland Hills. I can say it now because we don't live there no more. And it was a 1 bedroom with office, because we always committed ourselves that wherever we are, we're going to have a dedicated space for the Lord. We moved from North Richland Hills to Dallas, Texas, into a 2 bedroom with a den,
And fireplace.
and a couple fireplaces. Sunroom. It had a sunroom in it. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Sunroom. And we moved from Dallas, Texas, to a place off the highway that was, I call it the penthouse, because it was huge. We had 3 bedrooms, an office, a sitting room, 2 bathrooms, master suite, walk-in closets, a massive balcony that extended the whole side of the house, a formal dining room. So it was very big. It was kind of a little overwhelming for us, but we were like, God, I thank you. And now we are in our first home. We are in our first house. Let me see. Okay. We're in our first house, and we're grateful to be in our first home. Um, we moved right before the holidays.
5 days.
5 days before Christmas, and I was determined to have
Everything
this home in pristine condition, so that we could host the holidays in our new house. And so we are nestled in the heart of Texas. But we're just blessed because we're able to look back on how far the Lord has brought us. But I just want to also say that we're boasting on the glory of God because we have been through some things, which leads us to our topic, our moment of transparency. When we ended last season abruptly, as the infomercial or intro stated, we had to end it because we had our second miscarriage. And at the time we had our second miscarriage, I asked my wife, you know, do you want to keep going? Because it was important for me to not push her. And I also wanted her to know that she didn't have to push. And respectfully, she said no. And me being not just her husband, but her friend and the one that loves her, um, I wholeheartedly supported that decision because nothing will be more important to me than my relationship with God, my health and safety, and the health and safety of my wife. And so we ended it. We didn't share anything. And so we're kind of like picking back up where we left off. We're in a new beginning. We're in a new place. Y'all have followed us through our various places into our new home.
Mm-hmm.
And we're just grateful. We're overwhelmed. I'm grateful because I don't have to move stuff anymore. I'm grateful because my back gets a break. I'm grateful. Hashtag I'm grateful. Because we finally are able to do and have the things that we want. And so I'm grateful, to say the least. You want to go?
Yeah, I'm grateful too that we're settled in the comfort of our home. I don't know about anyone else who's moved a lot, but I absolutely hate moving a lot. You always lose something, something's misplaced, something can get broken, something accidentally gets thrown away. So I'm grateful that the Lord gave Kian the strength to literally move everything, unpack everything, and organize everything, um, and still work. So I'm definitely grateful, just as much. He's probably more grateful though, because like I said, it's his back that was bringing it up these three what was it, 3 flights of stairs. It looked like, oh, the home is so nice, I love it, and then you start walking up all these stairs with all these heavy boxes, and you're like, oh, I need to go to the gym, work on my knees, strengthen these calf muscles or something. So I'm definitely grateful as well.
Yeah. So had to kind of get the live together. Y'all know with technology there comes a few mishaps here and there, and I had to remind my wife like we're on camera, so it's really looking at the camera, not down at the phone. Yes, I threw her under the bus because we're 3 years in and we got to get this together. But this is in the name of showing it all. So new beginning, the last season ended in silence, but we're returning with so much joy. And for me, that is just the testimony of the Lord that He would allow us to have beauty for ashes. But I want us to kind of talk about, like what it was and how it was for us to go through our second miscarriage. What we learned the first go around, what we learned from the first go around, and how things were very much different, um, for a plethora of reasons. Um, as a man, as a husband, as my wife's husband, um, I know that's probably not literally correct, but
I was trying to follow that.
I don't know. I'm just using too many words. Um, it was challenging, and I think the hardest part about being a husband is when you are not able to do something And those are the times where, of course, we rely on the Lord, but I literally just really can only rely on the Lord. And I remember when we were going for a routine checkup and ended up finding out that the baby's heartbeat had dropped.
Mm-hmm.
And, I was just like, nope, not on my watch. Um, and so like, how was that? I don't want to make it seem like I'm interviewing, but because I don't. It's supposed to be natural and organic, and I want you to just jump in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say this time around, it was definitely more emotional, in both because it was happening again, but also because how it was happening again. It wasn't like the first time, so it was very emotionally taxing because I was further along in that process, and so having a miscarriage looked different than the first time. The first time, it wasn't fully formed. The fetus had not been fully formed yet. The second time, the fetus was I don't say more formed, but it was um, developed further, and so that looked different in how the body is, how the body I guess I don't say disposes. That's not a good word, but how the body releases it looks different, and so that was more emotional in that capacity, but also it was more painful as well. And so, whereas before, the first time when we were having a miscarriage, um, I didn't know what was going on, and we hadn't had a heartbeat. Whereas this time around, there was a heartbeat. I was aware of what was going on, and because of that process, um, yeah, it was just harder. That it was definitely more emotional for it to happen again, but also to go to the doctors and them to tell me that it's a woman that is in your situation is going to be in excruciating pain, and there's going to be a lot of blood loss, and you have to have this procedure done, or else you could have other complications the longer the deceased fetus is inside of your body. So it was a whole lot to process in a short period of time, and it had to be processed quickly because decisions had to be made on whether or not I was going to have surgery or allow the fetus to naturally pass, which of course I was informed would be extremely painful. Um, and medication would have to be prescribed. I probably would have to go to the doctor, go to the hospital to get stronger medication for the pain, and potentially have a blood transfusion. All of these um, potential scenarios were handed to me, which didn't add to the situation at all. It was already very emotional, but I'm just thankful because the Lord didn't allow that to be so. In that capacity, I didn't have to have the procedure. I ended up naturally passing the fetus, which was emotional, even more emotional within itself. However, he was with me, and I didn't have to experience the type of pain and blood loss that was prescribed to me initially.
That was suggested, right? Um, it was different as well because the first miscarriage, after the first miscarriage, my wife started to do a lot of research, and we actually found, because we didn't tell anybody about the first miscarriage, we shared with very few people, literally a handful of people, um, maybe like three or four, if that. And when she did have the strength to talk about it and to research, we found out that it was more common. And so it allowed this freedom and liberation to come in the mind and in the heart and the body and the soul, that there was nothing that we did wrong, because I started to examine something like, Lord, am I pushing too hard doing this? Do I need to be doing this? Because, you have the advice and you have, counsel from other people how things should look and things should be. And I'm like, well, maybe we're continuing to try and it's not time,
Mhm.
you know, just so many different ideas, so many seeds that were
Mhm.
planted. And just to know that you can kind of like take a breath and realize like, although the Lord is like, you're doing nothing wrong. You haven't done anything wrong. Not that we're perfect,
Mhm.
but this was not a consequence of a decision that was made in sin or in error. We've continued to walk in integrity and things like that and in love. And so like that was important. Number one for me, I was like, okay, there's nothing wrong with my wife. There's nothing wrong with me. We're healthy. We're vibrant. We fear the Lord. We love the Lord. And for me, that was really liberating. And like I was able to be there more for my wife after that. Um, and I think that also is was different because it allowed our mind not to focus on something that was possibly just a rabbit hole.
Mhm.
And it gave us peace and closure, and I think that closure and peace is very necessary and essential to the healing process, because you have to heal. You have to take that time. And simply put, I didn't do that in the first go around. And although I did like focus a little bit on my wife, I was more consumed with giving her everything she could want that would distract her from focusing on what we lost. So we took trips, we traveled, I purchased things, and we just did things, because I didn't have an answer. I didn't have the answer. And so the next best thing for me was to just shower and adorn my wife with whatever she wanted. Um, and so, that's what I did because we didn't have a roadmap. We didn't have anyone to tell us early on because we didn't find that out until later. I think it was almost the next year after, if I'm not mistaken, that we found out that it was, yeah, because it was after summer camp. Yeah. Um, it was almost a year. Months had passed, is what I'm trying to say. And like we just had this lingering thing over our head. And it didn't allow us to move forward, but we kept doing things. Um, and so that was like a big difference as well, too. And so even in the second miscarriage, my first thought was like, God, again, is it not the right time? Is it like just what is it?
Mhm.
And I had to like this time, like I had to be like at peace because I said, like I'm not gonna sit up here and question God. I'm gonna focus on like loving my wife, and loving her into wholeness and continuing to support whatever decision she makes. So, we did things. I started working out more because I just looked at it as an opportunity to present ourselves in a healthier and a better way for our children,
Mhm.
um, and vice versa. My wife, you know, she started her exercise programs with the um, trainer lady and Joa, something like that.
Growth, Joe.
Grow with Joe, and I watched her be resilient in a different way, in a healthy way. There's a difference in being resilient and just pushing past the pain and doing what you have to do than dealing with the pain and still pushing through to build yourself up.
Mhm.
That the latter is unhealthy. The
former.
former is unhealthy. The latter brings you into wholeness because you're dealing with the whole thing. If you don't deal with the whole thing, you can't be whole. And that was one of the things that like we focused on wholeness, not just eating right. And I've said this before, but I think another big difference is that like we actually prepared for our second child. I wanted the Lord to know that I partnered with Him and that I believed him. And so we bought baby cribs, baby clothes, socks, Pampers, diaper bags, cribs, playpens, and we still have it because it's not going nowhere. Toys, teddy bears, blankets,
Themes.
things like boxes and loads of things. And and so now we have something that we have to see every day.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like that for me was initially challenging. I boxed it all up. I put it in bags and boxes, and I boxed it all up.
Mm-hmm.
And I put it in our the back of our closet
Mm-hmm.
until I was ready to deal with it. And I would take it out every once in a while and say, I still believe God.
Mm-hmm.
But my focus, I pushed that stuff there because my focus needed to be on my wife.
Mm-hmm.
And so just loving her, nurturing her back into wholeness. But, you know, like for women, you know, it's different, right? It's different.
It's different because it's not to downplay the man or any or you know our parents or anyone else who would have been impacted by this, but it's one thing to know that it's happening and to see that it's happening, but to feel it happening is a whole nother level, because it's one thing just to know like, oh, um you know, the fetus never fully developed and there was no heartbeat or something like that. Not downplaying it, but I'm just saying like that's what was the first time. That's one thing. But it's another thing when you heard a strong heartbeat and then you hear a declining heartbeat, then there's no heartbeat, and then you know that you're carrying something that is dead inside of you, dying. Well, yeah, but I'm referring specifically once you know that it's gone, but it's still inside of you. There's one thing like you can move on from something when it's complete closure, like it's the end of it. We can process it, but this has ended, but now it's still there's still a process of it coming out of my body, and then from there, then processing all that happened. So that was an extra layer, and another. This complexity is what you would say. I'm trying. What's the word I'm looking for?
Another monkey wrench.
Yeah, it was another thing on top of that. So to naturally pass our second child was very I don't know, there's not even words to describe that. It's one thing when you don't see it, but to see it is different. So it's a lot, and then you have to just keep going because life doesn't pause. Like work doesn't pause. Your job can be understanding, but it's only but so much understanding. Um, Still have to eat, still have to sleep, still have to clean, you still have duties as an adult. So
right,
all of that, and processing the emotions, processing how Kian feels on top of how I feel, but also feeling like what's wrong with me that I can't or haven't been able to carry through a successful term. So it was very challenging, but I did see the beauty of the Lord even in sorrow and tragedy, to know that the body heals itself and resets itself without any human interference. I didn't take any medication and nothing, not even like a Tylenol or Advil. There's no pain relievers. There was no human involvement. It was just me, the Lord, and water and food. Not knocking medication, not knocking surgeries and procedures. Those are things that I believe the Lord has allowed mankind to develop for our benefit. However, I did not want to take something to induce the miscarriage. I wanted it to happen naturally. And I also didn't want a procedure where they had to take something out of me that they did not put there. So I was looking at it from a holistic standpoint of, I don't want you to do anything that's outside of what should be done, because the body does naturally know how to heal itself. Your body regenerates things, continuously building and forming things inside of you to help you. When you get sick, your body automatically knows, okay, we need to attack this virus. When you cut yourself and you're bleeding, your body knows, okay, the blood needs to thicken so that we can reduce the bleeding, and then your tissue on your skin will form to create a scar, and then you're healed. Like your body naturally knows how to heal itself. And so I just wanted the Lord's work to be done and not have any influence of anything else. Because as great as medication and surgeries are, there are side effects, and I didn't want another monkey wrench in the playing field. There was enough going on that I didn't want to chance having anything else on top of that when I can just trust God in the process. So, but the beauty in that was seeing the body heal so quickly, because the first time my body took a while to heal. So for me to have been further along this time and to actually have passed the fetus was miraculous. That less than a month later, my body, I had my
Says,
cycle.
I'm ready again.
Right, because if a woman has a miscarriage, then when she has her next cycle, when she has her next cycle, that her body is essentially back to normal, and it's saying like, hey, we're ready. Your body is now ready to conceive.
Right.
So the fact that even though emotionally and spiritually I was not there, but my body physically was there, I saw God in that, and the beauty of what He has created, that your body could so quickly snap back from something that is so traumatic and painful, but be ready to start all over again, even though mentally I was not in that place at all.
I think that says a lot, that in regards to time, sometimes we drag out processes, developments, cultivations, healing, et cetera, because we're quote unquote not ready. But the fact that her body responded to how she processed it this time says a lot, because the first miscarriage, it was months. Like it took months. Like months.
And I gained
like
weight.
4 or 5 months for the body to return back to a state to where it was saying, to where her body was saying, I'm ready to produce again. And for me, it was so encouraging just to see the hand of God. Not only that it would pass naturally and organically, but with a significant deduction in the pain department. I mean, they pretty much described it as like she was going to feel like she was dying. And I was like, as a husband, as a man, like, I'm not prepared for that. Get this thing up out of my wife by any means necessary, as long as she is healthy and sound. And so, like, for me, I said it before, I say it again, like, at the point, like, it was at the point where, like, I was at peace where, because we had the first appointment and they were like, oh, the heartbeat's not as strong as it was the last time. And then so they did a follow-up and they were like, yeah, it is significantly less. It's not as strong. The fetus is, it's gonna pass. And like from that time, I was just like, well, the first point I was like, no, surely if we can raise Lazarus from the dead, surely this baby will live again. Right. But the second time, it was just more, for me, my focus was on my wife, how to be there for her, how to make sure she's healthy, whole, and well, and to defy every negative spirit, every negative emotion, every negative perspective, every negative energy that was attempting to come against or thought it was going to come up in our house and do something crazy. And so for me, like, I did what I knew how to do, and all I really could do, which was pray and to declare the word of the Lord and to anoint, and to continue to be that strong place in Christ, right? Because the weapons of our warfare are not carnal. And so I just began to declare the word of the Lord over my wife. And I was just like, Lord, take this baby. I don't even care. At this, I had to be hard, because the first time I was like, no, make sure the baby and my wife is okay. And you know what? It sounds insensitive, but that baby, that fetus is not important and was not more important than my wife. And a baby, we can try this again. My wife, for me, that was the biggest decider, and that was a first time in a long time that I had to make a difficult decision, but it came so naturally. Like I was just like, I better do what I have to do. You know what I mean? But not one hair on her needs to be harmed. Or I'm going to turn into the Hulk and I'm going to literally destroy this entire wing in this hospital. And y'all don't even know that you have just become enemy number one if anything goes wrong. And for me, that's like just kind of like where I was like, I just went into protection mode and overdrive physically and spiritually. But just making sure that she was healing properly and just being emotionally available. That was what I did not do the first time. Like I didn't want her to cry because I didn't want to cry. I didn't, when we were in the hospital room and they were pulling the fetus out the first time, I was just like, I'm like, and just as a disclaimer, not that I need to explain myself to any of y'all, because I really don't care what you think. And those that know me, you know this by now. I don't care what you think. But I was, it would have seemed as though I was callous, but I just couldn't stand to see my wife hurt. I couldn't stand to see her cry, and I didn't want her to cry because I didn't want to see her hurt. But the second time, when she broke down, I just embraced her. And then, we had our moments. So just being there. And I think that if I could do it all over again, I would have we'd have stayed in the hospital that night, the first time, and just let it all out. And I think that's important. I think that's part of the healing process. I think that aids and abets the healing process, but the quick turnaround I attribute to just our perspective toward this thing. Like we realized like it was nothing we can do. It's normal occurrence, and we're going to continue to believe God for what we know we're supposed to have. It was really that simple to change our mind to get everything into obedience with the word of the Lord. But to say that there wasn't any uphill challenges, I'm not going to say that. You know what I mean? Because I had to watch my wife go through that, and like, there's not much you can do except just be there. And so, for me, that's always challenging when I'm not able to do something, but to be still and know that God is God. And I have those testimonies. She has those testimonies. We have those testimonies individually and collectively that God has never failed. And he will not fail. Will. He cannot fail. Failure is not an option. And so for me, that was like the glory in the story. Like real talk, like God spoke through every single waking moment. I remember when she woke me up in the middle of the night, she was like, I think it's just happened. And she just said it so casual. Like I was just, I was under the impression that it would happen because all the way leading up to that point, like I was on a high sense of alert. I'm like, it happened anytime and I need to be up. So like I'm staying up all hours of the night and still getting up dark 30 in the morning and working all the way to night. But I was like, I'm gonna stay up. And then I remember just like going to sleep that night, and I felt so bad because it had finally happened. The fetus that came down, she passed the fetus, and I was like, but I had half expected her to like be hunched and like blood all in our bedroom, blood all in the bathroom, because that's what they described. And like I was just, but God. So, but just being in a new place and just honestly like being open to talk about it. The first time we did not want to talk about it. She did not want to talk about it, but we really started like with such a challenging subject, because the level of transparency, and the depths of our transparency will determine how much and how effective we are. And so I knew this go around, like we could not hide it another season. Or hide or not talk about it this season, especially when it is something that happens. It's real. And out of all the things that movements there is in the world, why isn't this a movement? Why aren't women being educated on this? Why aren't couples being educated on this? And so like we wanted to start with something like heavy because it was heavy. It was heavy, but on the opposite side of it, like God has blessed us so good that it has been like a distant memory. And so like now when we go in the closet to look at the baby clothes or go in the garage to look at the baby stuff, it's like there's no bitterness. It's just like, yeah, it's on the way. And we're prepared. We're more prepared because you're never really prepared for something like that. You'll be up all night. But it gives us something to look forward to. So like we're just focusing on loving on each other. Like I'm just enjoying having our home in pristine condition, looking like a showroom house, without toys there and socks there and baby bottles filling up the sink, and I don't have to share my side of the refrigerator. And like just like little things, right? Like we can stay up late or get up early or just go jump in the car and go somewhere, go for a ride, get ice cream without having to drag no diaper bag, strolling, 1,000 other things, thermometer, all this stuff you got to carry when you're talking about a baby. So, yeah. But yeah. So it's very different. A lot of good though. The first time like we talked about it, like it was challenging, but it gets easier. It gets easier. Forgive me, it got easier. But we took the time this time to like heal, to talk about it, to be there for one another, to hear each other out, and to do what we could do right within our limited abilities and capacity, and just push each other and to be healthy and whole. And we're still, I think this is the first time like the baby stuff has just been like out in our face, because like we put it in our closet, like literally hung it up so that every day we would see, look what the Lord is doing, a reminder. And so because before it was boxed up, bag, duct tape, tucked away. Like I forgot we had this stuff for real. But now it's like
everywhere.
Okay, it's everywhere. And so all thanks to the Lord, and just happy. I'm happy. We're a little tired, so y'all probably like we don't have our usual energy. We still got to go to the gym, so still gotta go work out.
These muscles back. Ow.
But God is good all the time. And all the time. God is good. So just to let y'all know, like this is probably gonna be the most serious episode. We do have like some fun things. We have questions from last season and the season before that we're gonna answer. And just praying that you get your answer. If you do have a question, put it in the chat. Each week we're gonna have a new couple, one of our favorite couples. And they're gonna just talk to you a little bit about what they've been through, because there's a common thread that exists between the four of us. And so we're excited that they are going to be joining us. We're excited that they're going to give you a perspective that we probably can't give you. And so one thing's for sure, two things for certain. We are better together, we're stronger together, and we got to build together. Partnership, prophetic word, 2026. But yeah, watch the replay.
About 365 Ministries
on the YouTube channel. So we're gonna get out of here. We've been on here longer than we anticipated. Every night is only gonna be about 15 to 20 minutes. Join us Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on our social media accounts. We have to connect yours so we can go live from there as well. And so we just hope that this has been a blessing. We didn't really go as deep as we wanted to, because we got to save some stuff for the book. Marketing tool. So we're just praying that y'all take this journey with us yet again, season 3. Last season, we started out with a lot of fun stuff. This time we started out with something serious.
But it's still gonna be fun.
You're still gonna learn. We're gonna learn. I'm ready. I'm excited for our friends to join us. Like, I'm excited because I don't want to give it away, but I'm excited for our friends to join us. And take it away, babe.
And we will see you again tomorrow at what time? 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Who has a question? Yes. What's your question?
We
Who
see
is
a
that? I can't
question.
see. It says, I got a question. Sorry, we didn't have the. I just seen it right here. Sorry, y'all. We want to make sure. Come on, he got a question, and they're gonna be on here. Ask your question when y'all get up here. No, I'm joking. What's your question, man? Where's the food at?
Where the food at?
It's gone. What you mean? Where's the food at? The food is gone.
In the
We've
belly.
already eaten. Yep, gone. So join us tomorrow, same time, same place. Our special guest couple, I think they're coming on Thursday this week,
Woo woo.
right? I think so. Yeah.
Oh, when you comment, it goes to all of them.
hmm
Oh, that's why I couldn't see it because it's on Facebook. I mean YouTube.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So he's talking about yes. Yeah. So we low informal today, but I don't remember what we have for tomorrow. What's tomorrow? Tuesday. I think tomorrow we have like a little devotion. Thursday, yes, Thursday.
Mhm.
Thursday, our first couple will be on, and you know him, but you haven't met her, and so I'm excited to have them, my brother and my sister, on the podcast.
Yes.
All right. So Thursday, make sure you tune in. Our season pass holders, y'all gonna want to see him. It's Bishop Elijah Mitchell. He's coming on, and his beautiful, lovely wife, Erica Mitchell. Got a nice ring to it, don't it? E and M. E equals MC squared. No, I'm joking. Double E M. Erica.
E squared.
Oh yeah. E square. E square. Okay, E square. I hear you, babe, making up. Okay. So yeah, so we'll be back same time, same place. Tomorrow we have a game. No, tomorrow's Tuesday. Tomorrow we have a discussion on forgiveness. Tomorrow we have a discussion on forgiveness. We've had to forgive a lot of times in our marriage.
Well,
probably my wife had to forgive me more than I've had to forgive her.
Long suffering is my skill.
Yeah, and I suffer long in other ways, like my back being broke, or my legs giving out from moving all this stuff. But to God be the glory. We'll see y'all tomorrow, same time, same place. Make sure you like, share, follow, subscribe. In Jesus' name, be blessed.
Toodles.
We're going to get it together.